Hello grade 12s, welcome to yet another video. So today we are still on paper 2, and in paper 2 we are going to be looking at maps and scales, and into maps and scales we're going to be dealing with how to calculate actual distance, how to calculate the map distance, and how to calculate the scale factor. So we are going to start with the actual distance, but before we can go into the actual distance, I want to explain to you guys what an actual distance is, what a map distance is, and what the scale factor is. So the actual distance is the distance in reality, the real life distance, right? And the map distance is the distance that we see on the map. Like when you measure from a certain point to another point on the map using a ruler, you are measuring the map distance. The distance that is on the map is called the map distance. And then a scale factor, it's when we are dealing with a number scale. For instance, let's say we're using the scale. The scale is 1 unit is to 20,000 unit. So in this case, our scale factor is 20,000. 20,000 is our scale factor. So another thing, let me explain to you what the scale means. So when a scale is like this, as 1 is to 20,000, it means that 1 unit on the map equals to 20,000 units in real life or in reality. 1 centimeter on the map equals to 20,000 centimeters in real life, but it does not specify as to whether it's talking about centimeters or meters or kilometers or millimeters. It's just units, so you can use it for whichever units you want to use it. So now let's get into actual distance. The question says that the distance from point A to point B on the map is 6 centimeters. Use the given map scale to calculate the actual distance from point A to point B in kilometers. So we have been given the map distance. The map distance, it has been given to us in centimeters, and it is 6 centimeters. So this is the distance that is on the map. 6 centimeters is the distance that is on the map, right? So they want us to turn it into a real life distance using what? Using this scale. So this is a number scale. Remember, we have two types of scales. We have a number scale and a bar scale. We're going to deal with a question that includes a bar scale, but for now, let's deal with what? With the number scale. So they want us to turn this 6 centimeters into kilometers in real life as an actual distance. So let's go back to the triangle. It is similar to the one that I was using in the previous video when we were calculating distance and speed and time. So it works exactly the same, nothing has changed. We are now calculating actual distance, right? So the formula to calculate actual distance is scale factor multiplied by map distance. Remember that this line represents multiplication and this one represents what? Division. So when we want to calculate the actual distance, we're going to say actual distance equals to scale factor multiplied by map distance. This line represents multiplication, this one represents division. So we are now calculating what? The actual distance. So we're going to say actual distance equals to scale factor multiplied by map distance, right? So this is the formula that we use to calculate the actual distance. It's similar to this one. So we say that the scale factor, our scale factor, remember I told you that when you've been given a number scale like this one, the scale factor on this scale is 20,000. So that means that we are going to say what? 20,000, which is the scale factor, multiplied by the map distance. The map distance is 6 centimeters. So we're going to say 20,000 multiplied by 6 centimeters, right? So we're going to say 20,000 multiplied by 6 centimeters. It gives us a total of 120,000 centimeters, right? So this is the real life distance, the distance in real life, right? But remember, we've been told that we should calculate it in what? In kilometers. So that means that we have to take these centimeters and convert them to kilometers, right? And remember, when we convert from centimeters to kilometers, we go backwards. So that means we divide by 1000. So we are going to say, by 100,000, not by 1,000, but by 100,000, right? So we're going to say 120 centimeters divide by 100,000 units, right? So that will give us our answer in kilometers. So 120,000 divided by 100,000, it gives us a total of 1.2 kilometers. So that means that 6 centimeters on the map is equal to 1.2 kilometers in real life, in reality, right? So this is how we deal with actual distance, right? You take the scale factor and multiply it by the map distance, and then if you were told to write your answer in kilometers, you have to take that answer, because here it is in centimeters, you have to take it and convert it to kilometers, and this is our final answer. 6 centimeters on the map is equal to 1.2 kilometers in real life. This is the actual distance, so this is the final answer. Okay, we are still on actual distance, and I'm now showing you how to calculate the actual distance using a bar scale when you have been given a bar scale and not a number scale. Remember, we have two types of scales, a number scale and a bar scale. So the number scale is the one that we used on the previous examples, and this one that we're about to use right now is what we call a bar scale. So the question says that the distance from the church to the school is 12 centimeters on the map, right? And then it continues and say that calculate the actual distance from the church to school in kilometers. So we've been given the map distance from church to school, and it is 12 centimeters. So we have to convert this 12 centimeters into real life distance, into the actual distance using this bar scale, right? So when we have been given a bar scale, we don't use a formula to calculate the actual distance, because it can be very confusing, right? So instead, we are going to use the cross multiplication method. I hope most of us know the method. And so first thing first, before you can even go to the method, the cross multiplication method, you have to take your bar scale and convert it into a number scale. So let me show you how you can convert your bar scale into a number scale. So you take a ruler, right? So you take a ruler and you put it on your bar scale. So you measure the distance from the beginning to the ending of your segment, right? So you take a ruler and you put it on your scale. So let's say that the distance from 0 to 8 kilometers on my ruler or on your ruler equals to 4.2 centimeters, right? The distance on the ruler from here to here is 4.2 centimeters. So that means that 4.2 centimeters equals to 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers. So we have converted our bar scale into a number scale. We took a ruler and measured our segment. Our segment makes a total length of 4.2 centimeters. And from here to here is 8 kilometers, right? But on the ruler, it's 4.2 centimeters. So that means that 4.2 centimeters is to 8 kilometers, right? So now we are going to start with our cross multiplication method to calculate the actual distance. So let me read the question again. The distance from the church to the school is 12 centimeters on the map. Calculate the actual distance from church to school in kilometers, right? So we've been given our map distance as 12 centimeters. We've been given our map distance as 12 centimeters, right? So when you use the cross multiplication method, we put like terms on the same side, right? We group the like terms. So on this side, we're going to write 12 centimeters, which is our map distance, right? So 12 centimeters is to, we don't know how many kilometers 12 centimeters is equivalent to, right? So we're going to say 12 centimeters is to x, right? So we want to know how many kilometers are going to be here, and we put x here. So this means that we are now solving for x, right? So we do what we call cross multiplication method. We cross multiply. So you're going to say 4.2 and multiply it by x. We cross multiply. We say 4.2 multiply by x, right, is to, right, 12 centimeters multiply by 8. We cross multiply. 4.2 multiply by x, 12 multiply by 8. Now we say 12 centimeters multiply by 8 kilometers, right? So 4.2 multiplied by x equals to 4.2x is to 12 multiplied by 8. That will need a calculator. 12 by 8 gives us 96, right? So we are now solving for x. We want to remove this 4.2 and be left with the x on the side because we are calculating the value of x, right? So you have to divide by 4.2, and remember, what you do on the left side you also have to do on the right hand side. So if you have divided by 4.2 on the side, that means you also have to divide by 4.2 on this side as well. So this 4.2 cancels this one, this 4.2 cancels this one, so we're left with x on this side. So this is what we wanted. We wanted to remove the 4.2 and be left with the x. So now it means that we have to divide 96 by 4.2. We say 96 divided by 4.2 and it gives us a total of 22.85714,286 kilometers, right? So that means that the answer here is 22.86 kilometers. So this is how we calculate actual distance if we have been given a bar scale instead of a number scale. We don't use the formula, but instead we use the cross multiplication method. Remember, if you have been given a number scale, you have to use the formula. But if you've been given a bar scale, you have to use what? The cross multiplication method. And before you can use the cross multiplication method, you have to start by converting your bar scale into a number scale. So this means that 12 centimeters on the map equals to 22.86 kilometers in real life distance if we're using this bar scale. So this is how we deal with the bar scale. Okay, we are now working with the map distance and we are still given a number scale here. So the question says that the actual distance from point A to point B is 7 kilometers. Use the given scale to calculate the map distance in centimeters. So this time around we've been given a number scale and the actual distance, and we have to calculate the what? The map distance. So we are no longer calculating the actual distance but the map distance, right? So we've been told that the actual distance from point A to point B is 7 kilometers. So we have to take this 7 kilometers and turn it into the map distance, right? So we are still going to use a formula because it is a number scale, it's not a bar scale. So when it's a number scale, we use the formula. So the formula to calculate the map distance is map distance equals to actual distance divided by scale factor, right? So remember I told you that this line represents division, right? And we are now calculating the map distance. So map distance equals to actual distance divided by the scale factor, right? So here's a method that you can use to memorize where the actual distance should be, what the map distance should be, and where the scale factor should be. So it's a technique that I've been using last year when I was doing metric, right? So you have to memorize, you have to remember it by that Nasty C song, Send Me Away, Smile, right? So it's send me away, and you have to know that the actual distance is always at the top. So it's send me away, send me away. Actual distance is always on the top, send me away. So this is how you're going to memorize how to do the triangle. Fine, so let's go back to the map distance, right? Okay, so we're calculating the map distance. So we have to take the actual distance and divide it by the scale factor. But we are not just going to say 7 and then divide it by 15,000. No, our answer should be in centimeters, and our actual distance is in kilometers. So that means that we have to take our actual distance and convert it to the required unit of measurement, which is 7 centimeters, right? So that means that here on the actual distance, we are going to take our actual distance and put it into brackets, 7, which is our actual distance, right? And multiply it. We are converting from kilometers to centimeters. That means we should multiply by 100,000. So we are going to say 7 multiplied by 100,000, so this will be our actual distance in centimeters, right? Divided by the scale factor. The scale factor is 15,000. 15,000, right? So this means that we're going to say 7 multiplied by 100,000. It's going to be 700,000 is our actual distance. Divide by the scale factor, which is 15,000. Right? So we started by converting our actual distance from kilometers to centimeters because they told us that our answer should be in centimeters, and we have been given the actual distance in kilometers. So we cannot say 7 kilometers divided by 15,000. Our answer will not be correct. You have to take your actual distance and convert it to the required unit of measurement, which in this case is centimeters, right? So now you're just going to click this on the calculator and say 700,000 divided by 15,000. So that gives us 46.66666 right? So this means that remember, it's in centimeters, so this means that our map distance will be 46.67 centimeters. So this is our final answer, right? So what you should know about map distance is that when you are calculating the map distance, you have to convert your actual distance to the required unit of measurement, right? So your answer should be in centimeters, and you've been given your actual distance in kilometers. So before you can go to the answer, you have to take the 7 kilometers and convert it to centimeters. So we took the actual distance, which was 7 kilometers, we converted it to centimeters, and it gave us 700,000 divided by what? The scale factor, which is 15,000, and then it gave us 46.67 centimeters, which is the map distance. Okay, so we are now on the scale factor. We are calculating the scale factor. So if you look right now, we don't have a scale, we don't have a map scale, so we have to find our own map scale. So the question says that given that the actual distance is 7.19999 kilometers and the map distance is 12 centimeters, calculate the map scale. So in this scenario, we have been given the actual distance and the map distance. So we have to find the what? We have to find the scale factor. So we go to the formula. The formula to calculate the scale factor says that the scale factor equals to actual distance. Scale factor equals to actual distance divided by map distance. Remember, this line represents division, right? So you write the formula. Scale factor equals to actual distance divided by map distance, right? So they say that given that the actual distance is 7.1999 kilometers and the map distance is 12 centimeters, calculate the map scale. So the actual distance. So the actual distance is in kilometers and the map distance is in centimeters. And we cannot divide kilometers by centimeters. We have to divide the same units, right? So we have to divide centimeters by centimeters. That means that we have to take our actual distance and convert it to centimeters and then divide it by the map distance. So we're going to convert our actual distance into centimeters first. So we're going to say 7.19999, and we're converting from kilometers to centimeters. So this time we multiply by 100,000, right? So this, in this brackets, we are converting our actual distance to centimeters. and divided by the map distance, which is 12 centimeters. Right? So we continue, and we are now converting 7.1234999 multiplied by 100,000. That gives us a total of 719,999 centimeters. So this is our new actual distance. We have converted it from kilometers to centimeters, and we can now divide it by the actual distance, which was 12 centimeters. Our numbers are both in the same unit of measurement. They're both in centimeters now, so we can do the calculation. So we are going to say 719,999 divided by 12 centimeters. So because we are calculating a scale, right? So we're going to start with 1:2, because we are calculating a scale. Remember that it is a scale, right? So 1:59,000, 1:59,999.9167, right? So we can say that it is 1:60,000. 1:60,000. So this is our scale. The scale factor is 60,000, and our number scale will be 1:60,000. So this is how we calculate the scale. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for the subscription. I really hope that this video was helpful. May goodness and grace lead you to the great heights of success.